yesterday we've been doing 10.1 and 2 factoring out trinomials and everything. This is taking it to a whole new level. Okay. So we're at 10.3. Factoring trinomials of the form ax squared plus bx plus c. All right. And as mentioned yesterday, if you turn in your homework that you have done at home with no work shown and just the answer, it is marked wrong. Even if you have the correct answer, it will be marked wrong. So any work that you do at home that does not show all the work, we understand. If you just give me an answer, it's going to be wrong. Got it? Okay. Because you're not going to sit there and use other methods to come up with the answer and say, oh, there it is. That's not going to help you on the quiz and the test. So you've heard me say this over and over. I'm going to say it again. If you do not show your work, it is marked wrong. Okay, so we have an understanding. All right, the first thing you're going to do is find all factors for A and C this time. We're doing trial and error again. Now, if you remember yesterday, let's look at this form here. Notice what is different. What do y'all see different from yesterday to today? Taylor?
There's an A at the beginning now.
Bingo, there's an A. Yesterday, when we did 10.2, it was x squared plus bx plus c. Okay, that was yesterday. And it still wasn't real easy, right? Most of the problems, though, came with when it was prime. Let's face it, some of them were silly mistakes, but most of the problem was because it was prime. And you're sitting there working, trying to find what would work, and then it's like, it's prime. That's why I want y'all to do as much as you can in class so that, because I don't want you sitting there for an hour working when it's prime. Again, why I would never do that to you on a quiz or test. But you still only had to find factors for C that when multiplied give you C, but when added give you B. Okay? The negatives kind of threw people off, but you handled it just fine. Now we're throwing in A. It's taking it up a whole notch. All right, so we're going to jump in and just start doing examples because it's a lot of work. So go ahead and open up your book to page 418. And by the way, I'm not going to give you any prime today. So don't worry about it. And again, I will have students that will write prime as an answer even though there's not going to be any prime today. Huh? No. No. Okay, so there won't be any prime today. So let's see, everyone got their book open. Let's look at number 3. I don't have a whole lot of notes because we're just going to do a bunch of examples. All right, number 3. We have 3x squared minus 14x plus 8. Okay, one of the first things you want to do that messed some of y'all up, is there anything that I can take out first? No. In this case, there is nothing that we can take out. Okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to try to get this broke down into two groups. Now, this one is pretty easy because we know that the only way to get 3 is by 1 times 3, correct? There is nothing else that we can do to get anything different. So in this case, we know 3x can go there and 1x can go here. Or you can just say x. Because 3x times 1x is 3x squared. So over here to this side, write all the ways that you can get 3. 1 times 3 equals 3, and 3 times 1 equals 3. See, we're doing kind of like what we did yesterday, but now we're going to do two groups. So first thing is, what are all the ways that you can get this? Now, do not, I'll put an X. That's not a star, that's an X. Do not do a negative over here. No negatives here. Stay away. Caution. Stay away from negatives over there. Unless for some reason they've got a negative right here. Or did y'all hear what I said? Unless they have a negative right here, I'd stay away from that. And I don't think your book even goes in that direction. So if there is not a negative in this first term, don't try sticking a negative in this spot, okay? So that helps eliminate some of that. Okay, then over here, we're going to find all the ways that we can get 8, positive 8. But keep in mind, we also have to work with this 3 and this 1 to get negative 14. That's going to be fun. So let's find all the ways that we can get positive 8. By the way, if we're doing any, if this is a negative and this is a positive, what will it have to be? What will the numbers, the factors to get positive 8 have to be? They're both going to have to be negative. So if you have a negative here and a positive here, the factors are going to have, these factors will have to be both be negative. Okay, so let's start listing them. What are the factors, negative factors, that give me 8? Let's, Go ahead. Negative 2 times negative 4 gives me positive 8. We can also do negative 4, and yes, this time today you need to reverse them, and you'll see why. What else? What?
Negative 1 times negative 8.
And also negative 8 times negative 1. Okay, so we have those. Now, we have to figure out which one of these, when placed here, and then we do FOIL, is going to give us negative 14x. So let's see, Michael, just choose any of these combinations. It's okay if you're wrong. Okay, so let's do this first one. Let's try this first one. -2 and -4. All right, let's do FOIL. 3x times 1x, Emily, is what? Perfect. 3x times -4 gives me what, Emily? What? -12x. What does -2 times 1x give me? Man, this wasn't supposed to work out. All right. -2 times -4 is what? +8. Emily, what's my like terms? So what does -12x and -2x give me, Emily?
14x.
Man. All right, so we checked and it works. It wasn't supposed to work. Okay, so here's the thing. So we know the answer is 3x minus 2 times 1x minus 4, or x minus 4. Okay, so it worked, right? It checks. Here's the thing. If you can't just look at it and figure it out, you will need to try each of these. And then see, plug it in, work it out, and see if it works. If it doesn't work, do not erase it. Leave it there. And then try another pair. See if it works. Okay? Because if you're sitting and there's no prime, if you're sitting there saying, Miss Rogers, you said there's no prime, I've tried everything. I can actually look at your work and say, oh, you know what, this is the right one, but look at where you made a mistake. I can help you out. If you sit there and just stare at 2 parentheses and say, I can't figure it out, I don't know how to help you. You need to take the time to write out all your pairs here and then plug each one to see if they work. So that's what you're doing today. But notice now we've thrown in this first term here. So that's gonna make things a little bit different, a little bit more challenging. And I know Aiden loves this math.
I like it too.
All right, any questions so far? Let's do another. Number 5. We have 3x squared plus 5x minus 28. All right. What are all the ways that I can get 3? Taylor.
1 times 3 and 3 times 1.
Okay. So, which one do you want to use, Taylor? Okay, so let's do 3x and 1x, just like last time. Are we all in agreement on that? Does everyone understand that? Emily, do you understand why we're doing that one? Do you? Do you understand? Okay, so you need this. I just want to make sure. Okay, now we're going to try to find all the ways that we get -28. Now, this time, this is positive and this is negative. So, really, can any of these over here be both negative to get this as a negative? No. Can any of them over here be both positive? No. One's going to have to be negative and one's going to have to be positive, right? Because this is negative. So let's go. So let's see. Gabby, tell me 2 numbers when multiplied that give me -28. -7 times positive 4 gives me negative 28. And then we can also say, and this is, I think you should do this, switch them in the places. Switch them in the places. So it's still negative 7 and positive 4, but we've switched places because you don't know where to place anything. We can also do positive 7 times negative 4. And we can switch those places. Negative 4 times positive 7. Right? So make sure you switch places and signs because you never know. What are some other ways to get negative 28? Okay, so 14 times negative 2 gives me negative 28. We can say negative 2 times positive 14 gives me negative 28. And we can sit there and say negative 14 times positive 2 gives me negative 28. Or 2 times negative 14 gives me negative 28. Could we also do 28 times negative 1? Right? Negative 1 times 28. And then we can say negative 28 times positive 1. And 1 times negative 28. Y'all see where I'm going with this? There's all these different ways and combinations to get negative 28. Now what we need to do is figure out which ones could go here to make it come out with a positive 5x. When one of them is multiplied by 3. So let's see. Emily, choose 1. This one right here? This top one? In that order, right? All right, so let's try negative 7 in this slot and then 4 in this slot. So let's try it out. So 3x times 1x is what, Michael? And then 3x times 4 is what? Y'all did it again, didn't you?
Yep.
Negative 7 times 1x is what? Michael? And then negative 7 times 4 is what? Y'all are terrible, terrible individuals. All right. 3x squared plus 5x minus 28. Oh, look. It checks. Y'all are rotten children. Trying to make a point and teach y'all that it's okay for it to be wrong and y'all get it right every time.
You got the one that was all sheets correct.
All right. But do y'all see that it may take, sometimes some people can sit there and just, which sounds like a lot of my students, can sit there and eyeball it and say, you know what, I'm just looking at this and I see what will work. Congratulations. Other people can't do that. They have to write it out and then just try back and forth which one's going to work. Because if we were to put, let's say we put the negative 7 here and the 4 here, would that work? No. So I want to demonstrate that real quick. If I were to put the 4 here and the negative 7 here, 4 times negative 7 definitely gives me negative 28, but watch this. 3x times 1x is 3x squared. 3x times negative 7 is what? Negative 21x. And then 4 times 1x is 4x. And then 4 times negative 7 is negative 28. If I combine the terms, I get 3x squared. What would that be?
Negative
17x
-20. Yeah.
minus 28. That is not the same, is it? See how you're still using the -7 and the +4, but we put them in different places. Do y'all see that? So just because the negative and -7 and 4 work up here, it's all about placement. Here we put the -7 in the same bracket with the 3x, and it worked. We got the right answer. But if we switched them and put the +4 here and the -7 here, we get a wrong answer. So just because you're like, oh yeah, this looks like it'd work, y'all have to put it in the right place or it's going to be wrong. So if you do not take the time to check, you could get a wrong answer. Any questions? Let's do another.
And hopefully get this wrong.
No, I'm actually glad that you are getting it right.
You don't have to do as much.
Okay, here's a good one. 6x squared plus 5x minus 4. Now this one's going to be a little different. Because over here, oh, by the way, make sure they're always written in order. And do we need to take anything out of here? I keep forgetting to ask that. Which is why sometimes when you're solving them, you forget to take it out. Okay, but the combinations here, what are all the ways that we can get 6? Taylor?
6 times 1.
And 1 times 6. What else?
3 times 2.
3 times 2. Oh no. All right, so now, really, we've got an issue. There's several we can choose from. Right? So then we have to figure out which was which. So let's look over here. What are all the ways? Now, look again. I have a positive and a negative. So all of these factors have to be either what? Positive and a negative, right? Can they all be positive? Can they all be negative? No. Because of that negative, it's got to be one or the other. So what are my ways to get -4? Whit?
-2 times +2.
And then we can switch it as +2. Whoops. That's supposed to be times -2. Okay, what's that? What else can we do? Gabby? And then we have +4 over here times -1. And then we can have -4 times +1. Okay, so there's all my factors to get a -4. So then we have to find a combination that's going to work to get 5. So let's see. Whit, choose one of them over here.
2 times 3.
All right, so he's going to do this one. 2x and 3x. Okay, so now we have to choose a combination over here that might work with that. Anyone want to guess? Whit?
2 times -2.
Okay, so he's choosing this one, +2 times -2. Let's see if it works. All right, so I have 6x squared. And then I have -4x. I have 6x. and negative 4. Here are my like terms. So I have 6x squared plus 2x minus 4. Does that check? Write this down. It does not check. Now, the question is, was it this side that didn't work or this side that didn't work? Whit?
The right one, the right side.
He's saying this did not work, so I'm going to cross that out. He's guessing. He could be wrong. I wouldn't totally scribble it out. You may even want to just put an X over here because he could be wrong. All right, so look, we're going back to the drawing board. So he said the 2 and the 3 were correct. So Whit, do you have another suggestion?
Negative 4 times 1.
This one right here?
Yes, ma'am.
Let's try it. Six x squared two x negative 12x and then negative 4. Here are my like terms. I get 6x squared minus 10x minus 4. Does that check? So we know this is not, well, unless we messed up over here. Anyone else want to take a guess? Or Whit, do you want another try?
Sure.
Now, let's look. Look at the placement. So you, like right here, if you were to switch the 2's, all that would do is change the signs, right? And there's no way to get 5x. So you're right, abandoning the 2's won't work. But right here, is it the sign that needs to be switched? Should this be positive and this be negative? Well, no, that would make these switched. You would still get 10x. So what needs to be switched here?
The left side.
You sure about that?
Yes.
Or we could switch the 4 and the 1.
With
Put 1 here and 4 here.
yeah, we can.
So what would that, so what would you, let's see, let's do 2x and 3x. So what would I put here?
Plus or minus 1.
And then plus 4. Let's try it out. That would give me 6x squared. That would give me 8x. That would give me negative 3x. Huh. And that would give me negative 4. Circle my like terms. 6x squared plus 5x minus 4. Does that check?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, it does. There's our answer. Any questions? See, it's just time consuming. But you can do it. Right? Right? Right?
Possibly.
Y'all can do this. Alright, let's do another.
I have a question.
Yes.
Is there any trick that you can do to know, like, if it will maybe be the right number?
Get lucky.
There's really not. This will be the last one I show you. Is there anything I can take out of this?
Yes.
What?
3.
3. So 6x squared divided by 3 is?
2.
X.
And then 2x squared, right? 3x divided by 3 is?
1x.
Negative 30 divided by 3.
Negative 10.
Now, in this case, we're going to break this part up. But Aiden, what do I do with this 3? Make sure to include that 3. Otherwise, it will be wrong. So we're going to try to do this. Now, we're lucky because all the ways to get 2x is really just 2 times 1 or 1 times 2, right? So I can go ahead and put 2x and x right here. Or 1x, it doesn't matter. But we need to find all the ways to get negative 10. I have a plus sign and a negative sign. Therefore, none of these can be both positive or both negative. So, what are some ways to get negative 10? Whit?
1 times negative 10. And then vice versa.
And you can do 10 times 10 times 1. And then negative 1. Now y'all see why I write all this down. And then we can have negative 2 times 5. 5 times negative 2. And then negative 5 times positive 2. And 2 times negative 5. All right, this one's going to be a little bit easier. The 3 you don't even have to worry about anymore. You have to include it in your answer, but you don't have to worry about it anymore. So we just have to find all the combinations that would work in the appropriate place that'll give us 1, positive 1. So Emily, why don't you choose 1? Any of them. And think. What, when combined with 2, will give us a positive 1? It's okay if you're wrong. Okay, she wants to try negative 1 and 10. Okay, so we're going to do negative 1 here and 10 here. So if I do FOIL, I have, and I'm going to include my 3, I have 2x squared, and then I have 20x, negative x, and then negative 10. We combine our like terms, and I get 3 times 2x plus 19x minus 10. Did that work? No. Okay, so we can mark that off. You want to try again, Emily? So that we're trying to get to 1. So we got to see, oh my gosh, this really was off of that. I gave you a positive, but that's pretty far. So what do you want to try now? Okay, she wants to choose 2 and negative 5. We do FOIL, and we have 3 times 2x squared negative 10x 2x and negative 10. Combine our like terms, and we get 2x squared minus 8x minus 10. Did that work? No. Let's try another one. Aiden, you want to help her out? All right, let's try 2x, he said 5 and negative 2. This one right here. So we have 3 times 2x squared negative 4x, 5x, and then negative 10. My like terms, I get 3 2x squared plus 1x minus 10. Does that work? It does work. So our answer is 3, Aiden. Okay, good. 2x plus 5 times x minus 2. There is our answer. Yes, sir. Yes, any questions? All right, let's get to work. You will be doing page 418. Numbers. Two through 16, even. That's 8 problems. Honors. You will do I'll be nice today. 8 through 22 even. Another 8 problems. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Due Friday. And that's it. Yes, ma'am? No prime numbers. No prime numbers. All right.